I tell you, y'all, she's the queen and she's in charge because she's always the one that is actually on time and well prepared. And what I like about Amy is she is always so well rested, so well rested.
Yes, that's the one way to describe me. That's exactly what you should do. Well rested, Amy. That's exactly right.
You're gonna
In
change
my mind.
your screen name. You're gonna change your screen name to well rested, aren't you? I think that would be the
Listen,
ultimate one for you. You
in
know,
my dreams, I'm a well rested woman. That's hard to say. Say that three
um,
times
I'm
fast.
gonna say that 10 times fast, right? So, yeah, yeah, because none of us are. Everybody that's been in my messages lately has just been a walking zombie,
That
and
is so. I've never.
yeah, just can't figure out
Yeah.
what the hell that term is. Hey, Kelsey, thank you for being here tonight. Hey, Advil. I don't think I said hey, Tasha. So hey, Tasha. So
Hey,
um,
Tosh.
we have
Hey,
I
Miss
don't know,
Vicky.
we have a guest in the studio tonight. Let's see if I can show it without getting banned. Dun, 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 dun.
A little
We
pupper.
have we have Danny the Wonder Dog. Danny the Ulcer Dog is here joining us in the studio tonight. So you can tell he's
These
really
are terrible
interested
names for people.
in what's going on, you know. Um,
Yeah,
but
we're boring
at
for
least
sure.
he's being quiet. Um, I got a shower and then I got to go to therapy today, which was interesting. Phew. Um,
Yes.
we talked the vast majority of therapy
Friend.
today, believe it or not, was talking about the podcast with Dr. Leak because she's watched half of it and
Yeah.
she enjoyed it so
Oh,
far.
good.
And she asked a really good question though. She said, "How did it make you feel to be on the podcast with him?" And I was like, I don't know. I didn't even think about that. Right? I felt honored.
Yeah.
I felt like a lot of
Right.
self-imposed
Yeah.
pressure, ton of self-imposed pressure not look like an ass into the in front of the invisible community. I wanted to represent the invisible community in a good way. And
Yeah.
and then the more I thought about it, it really just kind of dovetailed into what we're talking about tonight, the topic for tonight. Um, this topic, though,
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
want to I want to read. This is the text I got about this topic because you and I hadn't talked about anything like this. Again, I want to read this to share with you guys. A lot of this stuff comes from y'all. The last big thing we did was intimacy,
We
right?
appreciate it.
Yeah, and Jennifer
Yes.
came up with intimacy, right, which was a great live. It's on the YouTube page if you want to watch it. It's really a good one. So I got this text.
Yeah.
It says this is not to be meant in toxic positivity way in any way, but a way for some of us we were forced to grow. How our chronic issue has changed us in a way that may be positive or taught us something, like a skill or
Mhm.
something about ourselves, or met someone, traveled, moved. It was forced for a lot of us. Like I had to improve my communication skills, which and how to speak up for myself. I would have never been like this 5 years ago. Just a thought if you want something deep in the future, right? So that's why we're here with this topic
Yeah.
tonight. So, and that tied
Yeah.
in with what my therapist asked me. How does it make you feel? And I was like, it really goes into this post traumatic growth idea. Like you have trauma, and for me, it's
Right.
medical. In this case, it's medical trauma, and like so many in the invisible community, we have
Mhm.
medical trauma, right? We've been abused by doctors,
Oh
we've been
yeah.
abused by hospital systems. Our family doesn't get it. Nobody gets us, right? And so we
Yeah.
develop trauma over it. And what this whole idea, like a simple definition, it's a life changing psychological, a mental shift, and we talk about mental shifts so often. Shift in
Hmm.
mentality as a result of trauma or a distressing event. Finding meaningful growth because
Yes.
of one struggling with adversity. And it's not just simply bouncing back, but developing new perspectives and strengths as a direct result of hardship. And then I
Yeah.
said, that's what's happened with me. I would have never gone on that podcast if I
Hmm.
was still seeing if I hadn't experienced what I had with
Yeah.
Dr. Pena. I would have never in a million years. I'd have
Yeah.
still been beat down. But it took this mental shift,
Mhm.
and that's that's, I mean, I'm a living example. I'm blessed that I've been able to turn it into something like Invisible, right? Because that's really where Invisible started. And
Yeah.
so it's a really, really cool. I got a crown. I don't know who thought I'm deserving of a crown, but thank you. Hey, Elsie, how are you doing? And I saw Mama Chihuahua was here tonight too. I missed, didn't say thank you, say hello to her. So it's a really cool thing. Um, it's
Yeah.
you kind of look at stuff. They talk about different ways you can do it. Um, like I said, though, it's a psychological, it's a mental change in how we approach stuff, right? And it talks about there are
Right.
5 different pillars or domains in this that you can find
Yeah.
growth after going through trauma. Personal, new
Mhm.
possibilities, how you relate to others, like empathy, right? Appreciation of life, appreciating that shower every day, right?
Our
Spirit,
victories. Yes.
yeah, our victories. Spiritual or
Hmm.
existential change. It doesn't have to be a religious change per se. It could just be something in a spirituality type of way. Um,
Hmm.
and I think a lot of us have grown, and I think we started doing
Yes.
victories at the end of these lives 6 months ago, maybe, and
Mhm.
neither one of us can remember whose idea it was. Right?
Mhm.
I'm going to give you the credit for it because it was a beautiful decision and a smart decision, and I don't come up with good things
Well,
like
thank
that.
you.
Um, but
Don't let him trick you.
I, so many people were against it in the beginning. Yo, we would do these victories, and Amy and I would track it. If we had 30 people on a live, as soon as we started the victories, we go from 30 down to 10 every single time
Yeah.
until.
Yeah. And we would get like two or three people sharing a victory. Like it was only a couple people would share, and we would get a lot of people who would share tragedies instead of victories in that segment, and people would just leave, and then we would get messages afterwards saying that they're really not a fan of that segment and because they're struggling and they don't want to see other people doing well. And so it wasn't just like we were losing people at the end of our life, and that's what we were worried about. It was, I felt like they were kind of revolting against us, like telling us they did not enjoy that part and that they weren't going to participate and they weren't going to be a part of it.
Mhm. Yep.
And I remember you and I having several conversations about like, do we continue this? Like, do we keep going? And we were both, I think we were both on the same page the whole time, just like, I think we have to. Like, this is important. Like, I'm a big gratitude person, but that didn't happen overnight. And it's still, I mean, I'm still not wonderful at it. I still
Mm-mm.
have days where I'm not grateful for anything.
Yeah.
But I
Same
think
here.
you
Look
have
at the
to
teddy
acknowledge the
bear.
good things and, this positive shift in the post traumatic growth. I think part of that growth is being happy for others and being happy with things that are happening in your life. And, like one of them was appreciation of life. Like, even if you're going through the hard things in life, if you're going through the hardest time of your life, I can promise you, you can find something to be happy for. It's going to be really hard, but you can find it. And I think the shift, the growth happens when that mental shift happens.
I think it's
And
part of it.
we've seen it like progress over, and it's been so cool to see the community like change and grow, and it's been a really cool thing.
Yeah, and it has been a mental shift in so many people that attend these lives, and there are times that we don't have anything to celebrate. We really feel that we don't,
Right.
and but people are now when I'm like that, it's so much easier for now to help to live through their to celebrate with them and celebrate that victory, and I can take a little bit of that for myself, right? And I forget
Hmm.
about the fact I didn't have a victory, and then it gives me hope that I'm going to get a shower next
Yeah.
week or I'm going to have a good doctor's appointment eventually, you know? Um, so
Hmm.
that's how the community is shifting. That's a mental change when this is what this whole idea
Right.
is. It's a mental processing type change. Right. And, you know, it's, where are my notes at here? I like personal strength, recognizing you're stronger or more capable than you thought, which gives a greater sense, greater feeling of self-reliance, increased ability to handle difficulties, improved acceptance of life's outcomes, right? So if you see yourself being more self-reliant, right there, that's growth coming out of this trauma with this medical diagnosis that you. So when I was saying, I did a video earlier today that I think if people can look at them through these lenses, people will see that they
Yeah.
actually are growing. They're taking this, pardon my French, this
Mm-hmm.
shitty thing that's happened to them, and in this case, I'm specifically applying it to
Right.
medical issues, right? But it applies to all sorts of different trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and that we're stuck with it. Our bodies are fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon my French. We
Yeah.
can't change it, but we're able to do things on different levels. New possibilities, seeing or
Oh yeah.
pursuing new life paths or opportunities, relating to others, developing deeper empathy, compassion, and connection. And that one right there,
Mm-hmm.
if you're here on this live, guess what? And if you're here on this live and you don't feel that you've grown at all because of your diagnosis, um,
Um,
it right there you have grown because you've joined the community.
yes.
You've joined the
Yes.
community,
Absolutely.
and that in itself is a positive sign of growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not. So often we purposely lock ourselves away, and I still do that at times, right? My meds right now are jacked up,
Absolutely.
but and when I'm bad, I'll still resort to that. But you guys come to these lives and you
Mm-hmm.
participate. Let me tell you something, share something with you that blows Amy, myself, and when I tell Jennifer or I tell Kate about it, everybody's blown away. For a live like
Yeah.
ours, we should, and we have in the past averaged like 300 comments on the screen. Everybody that's here that sends
Mm-hmm.
a comment, TikTok
Yeah.
counts those, right? And 300 to 325, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lately, we've stayed above 400, and quite often we've been at like 515, we had like 548 comments, you know? So that right there
Yes.
shows that you're participating in the community. And so
Absolutely.
when we
Yeah.
say we have, my disc disease, there's nothing positive that's come out of it. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah.
You've joined, you're part of a community. And we're
Mm-hmm.
before TikTok, while so many of us were like home, not, I want to say homebound, but we were so shut off from society. But now you've
Oh,
allowed
absolutely.
yourself to step out and become part of a community
Mm-hmm.
to where you're here, but you're also helping other people by sharing your story.
Yeah.
So do you understand why I said
Yeah.
in my video, why I think people, when they look at it through this lens, they're going to see that they're actually are growing. They're just not, may not be noticing it.
Yeah. It's hard.
Um,
Sometimes it's hard to see the change. Sometimes it sneaks up on you, or you're so busy fighting the fight that you don't see the change until other people give examples of this is how I've grown and have changed. And I mean, I told Keith, I was like, I can guarantee that every single person in our live tonight has grown or changed in something throughout this process, as small or as big as it may be. Like, even if just you coming and you started out just watching the lives and now you're interacting and like talking to people, and like that's the reason our comment numbers are so high, because you guys are all interacting with each other and with us. Like, that's growth right there, because you didn't start out doing that. You've grown and you've gained trust in us and the community, and now you're commenting and engaging with everybody, and that's growth right there. Like, that's awesome. And I think that something else that I wanted to just kind of mention was like growth and pain can happen at the same time. Like, you
yes.
don't have to wait until the trauma's over or you're done experiencing the PTSD. Like, growth and pain can coexist and they can happen at the exact same time. So, and I think for us and maybe for everybody, I feel like the growth never ends. Like, the pain and the growth, they're always going to continue. Like, we're on this journey forever. I feel like I need a giant bow now.
That's perfect.
That just like opened my eyes, and I feel like I
That
need a
is
giant
perfect.
bow.
Elsie, thank you
Um,
for that.
but yeah, I think that's something to remember that growth and pain can happen at the exact same time. So don't forget that.
Yeah, I love this.
But now I
Did
want
you
a
see
bow.
it? Did you see what Leslie just said? Although I'm a although I'm a behavioral healthcare practitioner, I was mentally suffering without people like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
I
that's.
mean, I feel like yeah, I feel like a broken record when I always say like this
I got the
community.
quote too.
You got the bow too. I love that. Whoever sent that, that's amazing. But I feel like a broken record when I say that like the best thing I got out of this community and like the thing I continue to get out of it is that I'm not alone. Like I don't feel isolated anymore. And if I have a new symptom or a new thing, I know that I can come to this community and you guys aren't going to be like, are you making that up? Are you just wanting attention? Is that real?
Yeah,
Like you guys are going to be there and listen and help and do all the things. And I think, you know, the loneliness is gone. And I think that's just like the greatest, coolest gift ever.
yeah, and you know, it's crazy how all this stuff we just we we stumbled upon it. We stumbled upon it, right? Because, like you said, one of the greatest
Yeah.
things about it is you don't feel alone. And in the very, very, very,
Mm-mm.
very way back, if you go back and get into the Wayback Machine and go back a year, I started saying that
Yeah.
Invisible is a group of people with varied diagnoses that have come together to let people know they're loved, they're seen, they're heard, and they're not alone. And
Yeah.
that was just like, I don't know. Some people would say God put that in my heart and in my brain, but that's really I don't come up with profound shit like that, right? But that's really what's happened with this, and that shows the growth that people are having is we're not feeling alone anymore. And how
Yeah.
awesome is that? And this is something else,
Absolutely.
people. I get grief because I always have to find studies, right, or always have to find articles about what we're going to talk about.
Love it.
Jennifer sent me an
Love it.
article, and this PTG whole idea, they're using it at a
Mm-hmm.
veterans facility in Virginia, and they're using it to help these combat veterans fight PTSD. Right? Listen to how the director there describes it. They the participants are encouraged to deal with past traumas. What do we do in lives? We talk about our issues, right? We talk about the
Right.
bad doctors. We talk about the bad healthcare. We talk about how our family members blow us off and how our spouses don't get us, right? So you see, their past traumas, our past. We talk about that in lives while discovering the
Mm-hmm.
underlying strengths. We, we share our stories to help people and we share our victories, right? As while forging new
Yeah.
connections with others, community, ultimately finding ways to give back. And that's what you do in his shirt. I read
Yeah.
this quote from this doctor, one of the guys that came up with the term PTG. And I'm like, I sent it to back to Jennifer and go, holy shit, we're doing this. Who the heck knew that we were
We're
doing
doing it.
we're doing it? And I didn't even know it. Nobody knew it,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah. Yeah.
kudos
Yeah. It is
to
kind of like group therapy. Absolutely.
it definitely is.
Yeah.
Um we got off in the weeds there, but it's
So cool.
important. I got the bow again. That is so awesome. I love it. I'm gonna
Lisa,
make that
love
my.
it.
I'm gonna send that to Valerie to have as a
I
screensaver.
want a bow so bad now. I need a
That is
bow. I'm ordering one from Amazon tonight, guys. I need one.
great. Just like how you ordered 12 cases of expensive water, and Zach was like, "What's this? What's this showing up at the door?"
Who
Sorry,
knows? It's a
I
surprise.
yeah. Um, two other ways, pillars
You
of
never know
this,
with me.
important things in this. Appreciation of life, greater gratitude for life in small moments. I got a shower this morning. I bragged about it on a video, you know,
Amen.
because there are days that just does not happen. Does not happen.
No, absolutely not.
Spiritual, and I'm going to butcher this word, spiritual or existential change, deepening or shifting spiritual beliefs, a sense of meaning or worldview. And that doesn't mean that that you're going to church more often necessarily. For some people, it does, right? There's
Yeah.
um there's a quote. Again, this comes from Kate. Kate said a large portion of chronically ill, pain community, mental health folks gets closer with their gods in time of comfort. Chaplains in the hospitals are there for a
Mhm.
reason, even as even for people
Absolutely.
who don't follow a traditional faith path. They have been supportive, right? So it
Hmm.
doesn't have to mean that you start going to church every weekend. It just means that
Yeah.
your mind opens to more possibilities of positiveness, right? So
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, it's great if you want to go to church if that's you, but don't get hung up on that term if
Yeah.
that that's not you. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
that's all the wine and roses part of
Absolutely.
it. But I've sold everybody that you're going to find personal growth, right? And here's the thing, y'all. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen with everybody, right?
No.
Unfortunately, the hill is too
And
big to
that's
climb.
okay. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we
Yeah.
sometimes we're not able to find that, and but you know what? That's all right. That's okay.
Yeah.
There's the
Yeah.
fallback to it would be something called resilience, right?
Hmm.
And they had a good definition of resilience if I can find it. Hang on, because it's a good one. Resilience, they describe it as an inherent ability to bounce back. An inherent
Yeah.
ability to bounce back.
Hmm.
I think the invisible community is that it should be if you use that definition. That's if you Google the resilience, you'll see the invisible community. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
baseline. To
Yeah.
bounce back to a baseline. Exactly, Jennifer. Um,
Absolutely.
because this community is so freaking resilient. We have to learn new ways to do
Process.
things at times, right? We can't
Yeah.
keep saying we run into these buzz saws. It takes a really, dare I say, mature person to finally realize that it's not your fault, right?
Yeah.
How many for months
Yeah.
I lived with the feeling of guilt and shame because Dr. Pena was telling me that my pain was all me and I couldn't escape it. And it wasn't until I finally almost put my hands around his throat that I broke that mental change. And I'm like, you know what? I don't deserve
Yeah.
this. I don't deserve
Yeah.
this. This what the way you're treating is not my fault. And
Right.
um, I don't think I know I'm not alone in reaching that point. I know people in this community that have walked out on doctors because of how they've been treated.
Hmm.
Walked out not knowing what other doctor they're going to ever try to be able to find
Right. Yeah.
because their personal self worth is was more important, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so if you don't find the growth in any of these areas, the personal, relating to others, appreciation of life, new possibilities, that's okay. It's all right. And I'll never hate on somebody who doesn't, right? Because I'm so proud of this community, and this community
Hmm.
is so fucking strong. And I'm sorry about my language tonight, y'all. I am hurting really, really bad. I'm trying to figure out how to dose these pills correctly, and I haven't found it yet. So I am either really, I don't want to say high, but really feeling okay, or I'm crashed. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, Bless says there's no bouncing back. It's getting in tune with the new you and all that comes with it. That's it. That's it.
But I think that also might be growth. If you don't feel like you're bouncing back, it's growing into the new you and what that looks like for you. And, maybe you've become more empathetic or you've become better at communicating. That's like we said, we've been talking about like that's growth.
That's
Growth
growth.
doesn't have to be this like big monumental thing. Growth can be as simple as reaching out and forming a community or having more empathy for people. If you used to be, didn't really care about anybody and now you really care about others and you're empathetic, like that has changed. And I think, sometimes you think like trauma, if you go through a trauma or a traumatic experience, you're going to grow out of it. And unfortunately, that's not the case. They don't equal each other. But I think a lot of times, you do. And that's the beautiful part of it, is that you can kind of give meaning to the trauma, or, the change can give meaning to what just happened. And I think that's what a lot of people look for, whether that's spiritual or whatever. I think people look for a meaning for everything. So,
Yeah. And
I
a
agree.
couple more things. Um, this is another thing that just kind of blew my mind about this. When I was talking to my therapist this morning about how the podcast really tied into me noticing that I had this PTG that I did grow,
Yeah.
right? I pulled my notes out and I was
Mm.
reading her the definition of what because she obviously knew the term, right? And knew about it. And she's like, "Can I see your notes?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I handed them to her. I said, "I didn't. I worked with others to build this, but somebody else put it in this format." Um, and she's looking at it. She's looking at it, and she's like really reading it. And she's like, "Can I keep these? Do you have another copy somewhere?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can just print another copy." She's like, "Because this is really good stuff." And I want to share that
Yeah.
because we shared these notes that we're all, myself, you, Jennifer, and Kate, who I've been working with. We shared this with another mental health professional. And this is real stuff, y'all. This is real. This is real
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
it doesn't have to be typically what society sees as trauma. Your trauma is important to
Right.
you, and trauma is different for everybody. And so, yes, that can include the bad doctors, and it can include how our families
Hmm.
react to us, right? Um,
Yeah.
so
Absolutely.
that was a good thing. Um, what else did I have? So I guess if somebody will throw something out, throw an old man a bone. Does anybody have you noticed a new skill like advocating for yourself that you didn't have before your trauma spark, before you had that bad
Yeah.
doctor or that bad health stuff, or in general, has anybody? Can you acknowledge? You don't have to be specific if you don't want to. Say yes, I've seen growth. Just let me know because
Hmm.
I think that if
Yeah.
we, um, okay, I said growth, not growling, kiddo. Nice try. That's good though. I like your attitude. Um,
Listen, I can imagine
um,
she's a growler. I can imagine.
I can see, I can imagine. Because I really feel, that we, Moonchild, thank you. I don't waste my energy anymore. That's huge, right? Leslie, I just did that last week, and you
Absolutely.
did.
Yeah.
You defended yourself with that anesthesiologist.
Hmm.
That was incredible, right?
Yeah.
Um, I
Hmm.
think
Yeah.
Jennifer, becoming a CPP was the first time I ever experienced struggle or discrimination. Eye opening. Yes, it is.
Can be
Elsie,
very
yes,
eye-opening. Absolutely.
I've seen growth. I realize I am worth being listened to and respected. Can hallelujah.
Yes, you are.
Hallelujah.
You are. Absolutely.
Completely changed how I view other people's struggles. Exactly. Kate says, I've had to
Oh,
uh,
absolutely. Yeah.
go to my appointments alone. Yeah,
Yes.
you know.
The
Um,
communication. Absolutely.
Edvo, I've
Yeah.
learned that I'm able to
I think.
fire doctors and still find a second opinion with no
Yeah.
guilt. That's
I
huge,
love that. Standing
right?
up for yourself. I love that.
Erica,
Absolutely.
I do not deal with negative persons where everything's just always wrong. That's it, right? Because our time's short,
Yeah.
right? And we have so many other things that we have
Yes.
that we can spend our energy on, and we don't need the negativity,
Yes.
right? Um,
No, you have to pretend that your energy and your focus is expensive. It's a luxury item. Like, you don't just hand your energy out to anybody. And I do think that, maybe people who have chronic illness or chronic pain have learned that, where maybe some healthy people still just they spend their energy on whatever they want because they can. And I think for us, it's such a beautiful thing because we are more, protective of that, and we only give it to people who truly deserve it. And I think that's awesome. I think it's a wonderful thing to grow out of it.
I think, yeah. Sarah said, I think also think with aging and my illness, I feel I have become invisible to the normal community.
Mm,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
I'm
To
invisible to
everybody.
ableist. Invisible to ableist every day of my life. But what's important is I'm starting to feel
Yeah.
less invisible to the people that matter, and
Right.
especially in the healthcare field, right? The healthcare. I've always been a strong advocate for others in the healthcare. I almost got into a fight with a doctor in the ER over when Valerie was there with her ATS. Literally, the nurse had to hold me back from climbing over Valerie and tackling the doctor, right? Um, but I was never willing to stand up for myself until I had to deal with
Yeah.
what I deal with. And for
Right.
me, I don't consider
It's
myself
easier.
an advocate. I don't see me as an advocate or an influencer. I just see me as me. But I'm blessed that I
Right.
got the
Yeah.
opportunity to do that podcast and to share some stories,
Hmm.
right? And to share beliefs
Yeah.
and what people have experienced. You're never going to be the same without a bow, you know. You're never going to be
Yeah.
able
It's my
to,
new personality.
you
My new
know.
personality.
Um,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. And I
um,
even think just, going to these doctor's appointments alone, I've heard so many people say that they've had to learn to speak up for themselves and advocate for themselves. Like, how I think that's just like the coolest thing we could get out of this because, I always thought I was an outspoken person before, but it's like as this chronic illness journey continues, all these things, I just keep realizing that I'm so proud that I'm able to stick up and stand up for myself when a lot of other people don't do that. And it's like, I wish I hadn't had to learn it this way, obviously. But I
yeah,
think being able to advocate for yourself and stick up for yourself and get all these things done is such an amazing growth. Like, that is the coolest growth I think that we've all seen. And I know so many people in this community have grown from that. And even if you're still growing and still learning how to communicate or advocate, like you come so far already. And I think that's just the coolest growth of all of them. I love to
yeah,
see that.
I think so. Yeah. And again, it sucks. We all had to learn this growth through this, right? But here's the thing,
Yeah.
we're stuck with it. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow morning with my
Right.
back 100%. Unfortunately, Amy, you're
Yeah.
gonna
We might as well.
you may have another migraine this week, Amy, before the week's out, right? So you're stuck with it, especially that neuro's the one in the back of the head one, right? Because there's no treatment for that. Um, and
No.
but we're able to take victories and wins and grow out of that. And
Hmm.
it's to me, and why another reason I wanted to bring this up, and it goes back to why we celebrate victories every live. Um, I really
Yeah.
think the more we appreciate our growth or the more we appreciate our victories, you guys are
Hmm.
going to call me crazy when I say this, but I feel this in my heart every single live we do. The more we
Yeah.
appreciate the growth or the victories, I really feel like the less we identify ourselves with our diagnosis or our disability. I
Oh, I
really,
I agree 100%.
I think that when we can see that we've grown, I become Keith, a former truck driver, not Keith, chronic pain patient, or not Keith with
Yeah.
that can't do X Y Z because of my back, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I'm still Keith that can't do X Y Z, but I'm Keith, and
Yeah.
I think I've seen. Well, I don't think I've seen it. I know I've seen that shift in the community, especially on the lives, right? Where people, when as a group, as we're
Yeah.
starting to appreciate how we've grown and appreciate our victories, we're not allowing ourselves to be identified by our difference. And do y'all understand that
Yeah.
when you start doing that, it could take people decades in therapy to get past that hill. And a lot of
Oh,
y'all are
yeah.
making that change by yourself. And that's something to
Yeah.
be so fucking proud of. That is,
Hmm.
and I know for some it's never going to happen. And I love you to death. I will be here to my
Yeah.
death to support you and to love you and to offer whatever I can. right? Doesn't mean anything that you're a bad person. It just means that, things progress or change differently, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if I got a terrible diagnosis tomorrow, I could easily get thrown right back, right?
Oh
But
yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
more we appreciate these victories and this growth, the more we separate ourselves from that previous identity. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
I
you
think so.
know,
And that's why, I always say the whole, victories and the gratitude and the positive thinking, it's a continuous thing. It's not something that you achieve and are good at and it just becomes second nature. Like it is something because our lives, we don't have normal lives. We are stuck every day with different pains or different problems that our automatic way in our brain is to be negative and to focus on the bad things that are happening because that's just how we're wired. But that's why I always say just like praising other victories or sharing your victories and looking at the positive in life and being grateful for things that you do have. It's an exercise that's going to continue on and on and on. It's not something you're going to be great at every single day, but I think it is so important because, I can promise you that you're going to have really hard days. And if during those hard days, if you surround yourself with negativity and you talk negatively to yourself and you don't watch victories or you don't watch positive things, I can guarantee you that that's not going to get better for you. You're going to stay in that negative space. But if you try and look at the positive and you surround yourself with positive people who are, sharing their victories and, letting you know there's hope out there, things can get better. I'm not saying your situation's going to turn around and be great immediately, but there's a better chance that the positive is going to happen quicker if you stay on that positive route and be grateful for things, and growth is going to happen there. And it's hard. I mean, listen, we have the grateful chain going on, and am I on it every single day being the most grateful positive person in my life? No. But I try, and it's a struggle every day, but I think that's the cool thing of it is that we have people here supporting each other and here to lift you up on the bad days. And it's such a great thing to take advantage of and like encourage those people when they have victories because they're going to be encouraging you when you have your victories, and it just kind of goes back and forth, and we're all just one big support group. We're just here to support each other and be happy for each other.
and y'all, if you're not part
That's
of
my
one,
soapbox. Sorry.
if you're not part of of a gratitude group, um, I'm going to put you on the spot. Message Amy because Amy set some stuff up
Please, I'll
to
ask you.
where we can get you added.
I do.
And I admit, in fact, I got called out by somebody in my gratitude group today. I didn't get called out. They were a beautiful friend. Hey, are you doing okay? I haven't seen you in this thing the last couple of days. What's going on? They checked in, and that was one of the most beautiful things that anybody's done
Yeah.
really in a long time. Um, so if you hadn't heard that we had set that up or that Amy had set these up, and you want to be a part of one, reach out to Amy, send her a message tonight, and Amy will figure out how to get it taken care of. So remember,
That's
she's
cool.
the brains,
Yeah.
so she's the one that's in charge. And I am like 32 messages behind. I accidentally paused it. You know, let me go back.
Sarah, I think you're absolutely right. And that's something that, like, I never want to feel like I'm preaching about the whole positive thinking gratitude list because, like, listen, there is toxic positivity, and I'm not a fan of that. And I am not positive 24/7. I'm probably on like the scale, I'm tipping more on the negative most days than positive. But I do think it can help change your internal dialogue. And your internal dialogue is so important because I don't know about you guys, but I'm the meanest to me. I would never say the things I say to myself to other people. And changing your internal dialogue, that is a powerful thing, but it's hard. And I think doing anything you can to help that is always a positive for sure. Because your
Yep.
internal dialogue, Amy can be real mean. She's not very nice. So we got to work on that.
Y'all, when Amy says she can be real mean, I've Amy and I talk on WhatsApp several times a day, and sometimes I'll throw out a topic idea, and I'll get this voice message back. Well, why do you always catch me when I'm on my horse like this? And Amy will tear into it. And hearing Amy try to be mad is one of the best things in life because it always makes me smile. It really, it really, really does.
How do you say try to be mad? That is me mad.
All right, before
I
we get
get
rid of this,
angry.
before we finish, I want to finish this with some quotes because I think some of these quotes are really good. This one is attributed to unknown. Trauma is a result of an overwhelming sense of danger, powerlessness, and fear. Healing is a result of feeling safe,
Mm,
empowered, and supported. Feeling safe, empowered, and
mm,
supported.
I like
Amy and
that.
I, Amy, myself, Jennifer, Kate, Ricky, all of us that are involved behind the scenes doing stuff with Invisible No More. That's what we want. That's what we're the community we're trying to build, where people feel safe, empowered, and
Yeah,
supported, loved, seen, heard, and not alone. If we're doing something wrong, if you feel
absolutely.
like we're alienating people, you got to let us know because that is the last thing on the
Right.
planet that we would ever want. Okay.
No.
Um, Bob Marley's quote. This is attributed. This next one's attributed to Bob Marley, right? You never know. You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice that you have. Again,
Ooh, yeah.
that's the
So true.
entire invisible community, right?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
it. You know,
Yeah.
there's no timestamp on trauma. There isn't a formula that you can insert yourself into to get from horror to healed. Be patient. Gassy, you said that you're not there, but that you'll try. Will you listen to that one more time? There is no
Yeah.
timestamp on trauma. There isn't a formula that you can insert into yourself to instantly get from horror to heal. Be patient. Take up space. Let your journey carry you. Please.
Mm,
Gassy, you're one of the
I
biggest
like that.
contributors and comments on this group. Your stories have made us all laugh until we cried. So I feel you
Yes.
are experiencing growth.
Yeah.
All right. Give
Yeah.
yourself some grace, kiddo. Please. You know. Um,
Absolutely.
so, um, somebody
That's
said
so
about
good.
a tip for your FYP. Make sure you have a good mixture. Yeah. I search raccoons all the time. You know, because I have to have raccoons, or my day's
Yeah.
crap. So, all right. I
Erica,
think
I can sympathize with you 100%. She says, I say that all the time. When people say I'm strong, I have no choice. I sympathize with that 110% because, I think I get frustrated and I'm okay when people say, "But you're so strong. You've done great. You're so strong." And I'm like, "Well, I don't really have a choice. Like there is no other option." But I get what they mean, and I think, it is frustrating because we don't have a choice, but I think we do have a choice on how we handle it and how we grow. And I think that's maybe the beautiful part of it, you
and
know?
here's a
So,
here's a here's a beautiful quote that goes right to that. I dream of never being called resilient again in my life. I'm exhausted by strength.
mm,
I want support. I want softness. I want ease. I want to be among kin, not to be patted on the back for how well I can take a hit or how many hits I can take.
mm,
That's deep, isn't it?
I like it. I
I love
like
it.
it.
I love it. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I read that and I was like, that's me. That's me. You know,
that's beautiful.
that's me.
Yeah.
So, um, all right.
Wowzer. I agree.
So, ready for our left turn? Left turn. Here we
Let's
go.
go. Where are we turning?
Um, my FYP is all jacked up. I just saw a post that you said that you made a week ago. That shows you how often.
Oh,
I mean, how jacked up my FYP. I I love it. Thank you. That was
that's so
awesome.
good. My name is Carrie.
Um, that was so cool. Um,
You're the king.
Amy's.
I'm the queen. You're the king.
That's
Perfect.
it. That is it.
Perfect.
Um, Taking care of business. Anyway. You have a book. You have a book thing. you posted all your. Oh no, he's back. That's me right there all the time. What did I miss? What did I miss? What's going on? Uh, so
So cute.
you posted some of your books, right? That you've been
Yes.
reading, and I love it. That is so awesome.
Cool.
I'm gonna send that to Valerie whenever she's mad at me. I'm gonna go back in the video. I'm gonna screenshot that. So
Maybe that me now.
that is so cool.
That's
Um,
funny.
so
I love
you're
it.
brave and posted some of your books. Does the general world know that they're smut books, or do people just read those and see what you're reading and oh look at that? Like one of them was called like First Appointment. No, it was something close to
I don't
that.
know. I don't know.
I'm just so
Maybe.
and we
Listen,
talked.
they're hiding in plain sight.
I'm so going to use that. Thank you for ever
Thank
sent
you,
that.
baby.
That is so fantastic. That is
If I
so
had a good Elvis
fantastic.
impression, I would do it, but I don't. So I'll work on it.
I love it.
No, but see, that's the fun part about reading these fun books because they're just hiding in plain sight. Like you would, if you looked at the books, you would never know that Amy's out here reading crazy stuff. You just think, oh, it's a fun romance book. That's so cute. And then when people are like, hey, should I read this book? I'm like, oh, no, don't read that. No, maybe don't. And then I recommend some other books that are maybe a little more PG.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so,
You gotta hide in plain sight.
so if you started a book club, which book would be the first one you would put in it? I'm curious.
I feel like we would have, if we started a book club, we would need to start off pretty sane. And it would maybe just be like a normal human romance. You know, we got to work our way up. We can't just go straight to Disney smut right out of the gate. You know, I don't want to traumatize any people. Okay? We got to work
Or
our way up.
and
We
don't
go from
start.
human romance to maybe some
Yeah,
werewolf romance. You know, we just gotta, there's tiers to this.
we're gonna
I don't want to
start with
traumatize you.
the normal smut, and then
Yeah.
jump immediately from that to furries, right? That's good. That's good.
Jump. Yeah. Hey, Miss Crystal, welcome.
Yeah, that's a great
Oh,
one.
God.
That's a great one for Crystal to come
Thanks.
in right when we're talking furries,
Sorry.
Invisible Live. Um, I think you guys should do
You
it,
know,
but I want to be able to be added just so I can be there for the conversation. That's
just so
just what
you
I
can
want to,
listen.
so I can listen in. You know,
Listen. I think a
um,
book club would be so fun. Absolutely.
I think
You
it would
know,
be
you
that.
would just, I don't know. I don't know. See, the thing is that that's something that I've grown out of all of this is reading. And I make fun because my level of reading is in correlation to like how bad my mental health is. So if like I'm really struggling with my mental health, I am reading a lot. And then if my mental health is like really good, I'm just reading like maybe one book a week. And the past a week, I'm on my third book. And Zach came to bed last night and he goes, wow, what? Is that a new book that you're reading? And I said, yeah, this is number 3 for the week. He goes, do you want me to sleep downstairs? I said, no, you can stay here. He was like, okay. He was like, are you okay? You okay? And I was like, I'm fine. Thank you. Just leave me alone and just lay in bed. But it was so funny. He was like, is that another new book? Wait a minute. That's not the one I thought you were reading. And I was like, no, it's a new one. And he just like so timidly goes, should I sleep downstairs? And I was like, no. But
No,
it's good.
because I
It's
mean,
good for our mental health, you know, because it's fun to read about
uh,
crazy things. Gets your imagination going, the imagination flowing for other
well,
things in life.
reading about werewolves and humans doing things that's crazy. That's crazy. And then reading about poor Aladdin doing things that I would have never imagined Aladdin to be doing. That's another thing that's,
You know,
you know, um,
I only have
yeah.
one more of my series of my Disney smut. I only have one more book left, and it's Little Mermaid. So we're going to be diving into the mermaid world. But I haven't started that one yet. We haven't started it yet. We'll see. A girl can dream. Exactly.
Mermaids? Really? Under the sea. Poor mermaid. Exactly, Gassy.
Or, I mean, listen, have you
I,
seen King Triton? Still
I,
looking at my
I,
girl.
I'm, yeah,
I do
you're
not,
right, Jennifer.
Kelsey, but I'll look them up.
I,
Yeah,
I
a
am,
dinglehopper. That's right.
I am
No,
glitching.
we're making him embarrassed again. We can't do this every week, guys. We can't embarrass him every week. He'll just
Just,
listen. I got to
it's,
be entertained somehow. You know, you got to find ways to entertain yourself. This is what I found. I can't paint rocks all day. Gotta I gotta read books. And if I'm gonna read a book, by golly, it's gonna be interesting. I'm not gonna be bored over here listening to some PG stuff. That's boring.
I, I got nothing. I got
Listen,
nothing.
I'll let you know how Sebastian's involved. Listen, the
You
last one
know,
I read was about the Wizard of Oz, and it was slightly disappointing because there was no Tin Man or Scarecrow. Um, but it was really good. But yeah, it was kind of disappointing in that realm of things. So fingers crossed. Oh yeah, we would need at least yeah. We would start out PG-13 maybe. Or maybe we need to start I don't know. I feel like these books are R-rated. No offense, but they're spicy. No, I know no Tin Man. Missed opportunity. Absolutely, I agree. Missed
were
opportunity. I mean, think of all the puns. Think of all the puns. Missed
werewolves,
opportunity.
10 men, mermaids. That's a level beyond R rated in my brain. But you be you,
No.
you know? I just, and I consider,
No.
yeah, thank you, Moonchild. NC-17 is much better. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm just, um, I'm gonna go. Let's.
I keep you
We're
guys
on the.
informed. That's
You mentioned Disney. How's Disney Douche doing? Has he been quiet? Has he been around? Is he just being himself? Does he still have a girlfriend, or did she bury him in the bathtub
still has a
and
girlfriend.
keep him on ice?
No, he's
You know,
still alive. He's been very chill lately. I haven't seen much of him, but I don't know if I told you. I think I sent you a message about this, or I sent somebody a message. We have a new character in the neighborhood. So we have this kid who just got a brand new motorcycle, and I'm pretty sure he's never ridden a motorcycle in his life. So, like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, we had a neighbor across the street who got a motorcycle for the first time. And he was so cute. He would ride it up and down our road constantly all the time. And then one time he was over by the mailbox in like the parking space and he was like revving it up and like just playing on it. And he, I guess, revved it and hit the sidewalk and tipped over. And luckily I was outside watching it all. So that was like my favorite experience. So we have like another one of him, but he lives farther down the road. But he has been riding his motorcycle just very slowly up and down the neighborhood. And then yesterday, um, I was sitting outside and he drove by and he stopped like a little bit in front of me where I could still see him. But he did like a wheelie and I guess his phone or his wallet fell out of his pocket when he did the wheelie because he went off and then slowly turned around, came back, had to pick something up off the ground, and then like roomed away.
that's funny.
So this sweet little man is he's just practicing his motorcycle up and down the house. Like I did laugh, yes. I don't think he heard me, but it's just you can tell he has never ridden a
Never.
motorcycle before. And he is just he's practicing. So he's been my entertainment. He practices a lot in the morning or like late at night. So it's hilarious. It's so fun.
Have you been
Why
have you
do
been
I
have you
survive?
been have you been reading the comments about Gassy renting the wrong Alice in Wonderland? Gassy said that
Yes.
somebody's like, "Well, how long did you watch it before you realized it?" I love this. About 5 minutes before the kids came in, it said something was wrong with Alice.
I've seen that one. It was definitely the wrong one.
That is, yeah,
Glad your
that
kids figured it out.
that's it. Did you
That
see
is
the
more
hat with the
meaningful
little
about
things
it.
hanging? That was cool.
I missed it.
The
I
safari
missed
hat. It
it.
was
Oh,
really
God.
cool. It's like a hat. It's got little thingies hanging from it. That was so cool. Thank you, Elsie.
Mhm.
Um, so
Okay.
before we do victories, because I want to do victories, even though we've been talking about the importance of victories all night long. Any late? What's the
Love that.
latest with Dwayne and with Chris Rock? Have you been just too migraine to finally paint Chris, or what's going on?
Yes. Well, here's the deal. So my plan was because my husband went and house slash dog sat for a friend of ours Tuesday and Wednesday night. So I was unsupervised. So my plan was to do some crazy stuff while I was unsupervised. It didn't do it. I mean, I ordered a pizza like midnight, but that was the craziest I got. So unfortunately, Chris has not been painted. Um, and Dwayne is just, I feel like Dwayne has a new personality with these eyeballs. I feel like he is just like, he's staring into my soul sometimes. And I feel
He
like he's
needs some.
judging me.
He needs some hair. He needs hair on his head.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. He needs some hair and a goatee and maybe a beard. That's just what I would ask. You know, um,
There you go.
I'm so
Or
far.
a
I'm so
top hat
sad.
or something.
Yeah, I'm so sad your neighborhood's boring. We have a family across the street, and the dude's great. He does like construction, and he's like a handyman of all types, and he's helped us here with like the deck, and he's got to do some other work for us. And I love it because we don't have like an HOA. Well, we do have an HOA. It's just a really bad one. Um, and I can tell when his family's over because the music starts playing at
Mm,
like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and it is just you can hear him having so much fun.
mm,
It's really the cool thing.
it's funny.
So um,
Yeah.
so hopefully maybe I mean doesn't Zach work for like a paint company? Doesn't he have access to paint? So he can get you paint.
He does.
You
We
know?
have the pen. We have the
Okay.
pen. I just need to do it. I'll focus this weekend. We'll get it done. But I mean, I guess apparently now Dwayne needs a toupee.
He does need a
So I guess we
toupee.
need to find him some more.
Yeah. Well, when Zach's asleep, just cut some off
I don't
and just
know.
glue it on top. You know? I would,
I
I would,
hit him in the face last night with my phone, and I felt so bad. He didn't wake up, but was playing on my phone. And so the thing about me is, I have problems with my wrist. And I have spasms in my hand sometimes. So sometimes when I'm just doing nothing, my hand will jerk. It happens. Okay. I can't control it. I don't. It's not my fault.
it's
So
like,
I was on my
wait,
side.
let me picture. So it's like you have Tourette's, but it's only in your wrist, right? It just does its own thing whenever it wants to. Okay. All right.
So I felt so bad. So I'm laying on my side facing the middle and I have my phone like in front of me and he rolls over to face me, but he came like really close. And I didn't think anything of it because I was like, okay, he's not touching me, it's fine. And my hand spasmed. And I mean, when I heard a thunk on his head, I like froze. I was like, and he didn't wake up. He didn't do anything. And I just like slowly put my phone down so that if he did wake up, I would be sleeping. Like I'm not playing on my phone. I'm sleeping. So I slowly put my phone down and just laid there for a while. And I was like, okay, we're good. So then I start playing my phone again. And this morning, when he was getting ready for work, I was like, hey, does your head hurt? And he goes, no. And I was like, well, come here. I was like, turn the light on. Let me see your head. Cause I mean, I hit it hard and like there was a thunk. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, so I'm just going to tell you, don't be mad, but I feel really bad. I was like, I smacked the shit out of you last night. And he was like, what? I was like, I'm so sorry. He was like, Amy, why were you playing on your phone? And I was like, I couldn't sleep. And he was like, I cannot believe you hit me. And I was like, babe, I hit you real hard. Like it was bad. But he didn't wake up. He's fine. No concussion. He's not concussed. But I
That's
mean,
good.
I was like, I can't help it. I have a spasm. It's my fault. It's not my fault. I have a
That
spasm.
is.
It's a medical problem. So poor Zach got attacked in the middle of the night last night.
Oh my
I know,
God.
right? He sleeps real well. He is a deep sleeper, and I was like, well, clearly you can get attacked in the middle of the night, and you just keep on sleeping. Good for you.
Yeah. Well, now you know
I
what you can
wouldn't
get away
know.
with. You can get away. Now you have an idea
I know,
of your
right?
boundaries, right? And so,
See
oh,
if I can hit him harder next time.
well, I
That's
mean,
right. No marks were left. It never. I know. I shouldn't have told him. I could have. Clearly, I could have gotten away with it. But I have a bad conscience, so
yeah.
Plus, it's hilarious, and I would want to tell the story, so I have to tell him. You know.
Oh, check out the bear. That was so awesome. The woolly hat. Thank you for that. That was so cool. Thank you for that. The dogs and cats are gonna
Oh,
help.
Miss Erica, I was going to tell you what it was, but it's charging on right now. The armband that I wear on my arm is called the Visible Tracker.
Ah, styling.
Thank you.
You're
Tracking
styling.
for you.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Do you want to segue us into victories, big, small, and everywhere in between? I saw somebody had a really good appointment. It's it's just corn, y'all. It's just corn. Is that a reference to the books that Amy reads? The hat and the mustache. I love it. Thank you for that. That is so awesome. Uh,
Cool.
so
Yes. Okay. So victories. Yay. I feel like we've been talking about this all night, but now we got to hear about your victories. So, what is something big or small that you have done this today or this past week that is a victory for you? It could be as simple as coming and joining this live, cooking dinner, taking a shower, having a good doctor's appointment, hanging out with family, going on a trip, whatever a victory is for you, we want to celebrate it and we want to encourage you more. So, no matter how big or small, let's hear your victories so that we can encourage you and celebrate. I
and
love
so
it.
some
This is my
and so
favorite
some of
part.
some of us can actually feel the victory and celebrate it too, because and give
Yes,
us some
live
hope,
it
right?
vicariously.
Sarah,
Yes.
my victories are we moved my youngest into his apartment today. I am barely moving tonight. You moved
I'm
Walt
so
out?
proud of you.
They moved Walt out.
I kicked Walt to the curb. He's too big.
He's too big.
I'm
Valerie, I
so
got
proud of you. I know that was too hard.
that had to
I'm
be.
so proud of you.
Valerie got released from a foot doctor. That is a big one. That's a really big one.
Woo! Love it.
Moonchild, a patient sent my boss an email about me praising me. Not gonna
Yay,
lie, I
praise him
cried. That has to
too.
feel good. That knowing that
That's
that
such a
you
good
are
feeling.
recognized like that.
Yes.
Terry is finally back.
Yeah.
Terry was gone for like a week. Beat the damn flu. Hallelujah! I'm glad you got
Yes, you
past it.
did.
That is awesome.
100%.
Leslie passed
Flu is no
not
joke.
one, not two, but Leslie passed 4 training modules. Wow, that's crazy. Especially they're the
Keep
ones that you
killing it,
sit in front
girl.
of a that you have to sit in front of a
Yeah.
computer and read and take without falling asleep.
Those are horrible.
Congratulations
Ugh.
on that.
Those are
Eric,
terrible.
Erica cleaned out a closet of clothes I've had for way too long to donate. Thank you for doing that. It's going to go to a good cause.
Man.
That is awesome.
Yes. That's
Um,
amazing. That feels like such a relief
I
too when you do that. That's so good.
where else?
Yay! I love these.
It spun up. That
Mm.
is
Miss
um,
Gassy, she said, I joined you guys both Tuesday and tonight. Usually I'm too tired. I'm so glad that you're here.
I
You
am.
always make us smile, Miss. I'm so glad you're here. So
I
glad
guess
everybody's here. You guys are your presence here, it does not go unnoticed, and we just are so thankful for each and every one of you. So
each and
thank you.
every one. And Gassy, I honestly feel that you may not see it, but you have growth, kiddo, and I'm proud of you. I see it, and
You're
I'm
a
not just
great
blowing
mama.
smoke up at your ass. I'm not good at blowing smoke. Um, let's see. Ta, 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 ta. Sarah definitely made the memories that's worth the
Yeah,
trade.
that's
So
right.
Campbell got out of the
Nice.
nursing rehab, getting out of the first nursing rehab tomorrow after having antibiotics for cat scratch
Yay!
fever. Hallelujah, brother. That's
Oh
awesome.
my
I'm so happy for
goodness.
you.
So,
And if I missed
what a blessing to
anything,
get out finally.
um,
I know. I was
I'm
like, I don't think we
sorry.
missed any, but maybe.
Kate had lunch out with a friend that
Hey,
haven't seen in years. First meal out in months. I don't
that's a
want to.
huge win.
I don't want to do
That's
TMI. I
amazing.
don't. I don't think this is TMI because Kate was on. We did Kate on an Invisible Thursday where Kate shared their story. Y'all, Kate has an issue with her body about being able to not being able to like eat solid foods at times, right?
Hmm.
And so being able to go
Yeah.
out and spend time with somebody they haven't seen in years and eat a little bit of that's tremendous.
Yes.
That is just
Yeah.
on the level of unicorn doctor and amazing. And I am so proud putting yourself out and getting that done. That is beautiful.
Yeah. And
Um,
we've talked about this before where, like, for chronic illness people, for so many of us, we have a problem with food. But for, like, normal people, like people my age, if they want to hang out, let's go to a restaurant, let's go here, let's go eat here. Like, that's the normal thing to do for people our age, is to go to a restaurant or go eat. And it's so hard for a lot of us who can't eat certain foods or can't really eat anything, that we feel kind of left out. Or if you go to a restaurant, you're just sitting there and you can't eat anything and it's uncomfortable. And so that's a big struggle, I know, for a lot of people. And the fact that, Kate got to eat a little bit, huge, huge
that's
win.
huge.
I love
That
that.
is
And
that's
hang out with friends. That's
you
always a
know
plus.
that's
Yeah.
that's so awesome. That is so awesome. Thank you for sharing the victories. I mean, I got my shower today.
Thank you.
I've had a relatively good week besides the meds, you know, um, but the meds are really kind of dragging me right now. So if I seem off
Yeah.
tonight or if I don't seem normal tonight, I apologize. I'll get it figured out. Um, Life is good and live and hearing your guys' ability to go and do and be productive and to win at times just gives me hope that
Yeah.
next week and tomorrow is going to be better. And I cannot thank you enough for that. I can't thank you enough for spending time in this community and building the community and making it what it is. There's 21 people here right now that
Thank
know
you.
that they're seen, they're heard, and they're loved. And it's
Yeah.
immense. It's immense. The only other thing I
Yeah.
have is next Thursday is going to be an interesting one. We're going to talk about snake oil salesmen scams in the invisible community, about how
Yeah.
we are specifically targeted and how we can better defend ourselves and protect ourselves from getting ripped off and taken advantage of. So that's next Thursday. And I'm really looking forward to getting this out, getting that topic out and talked about. Tuesday, we'll talk more about the Facebook page. It should be live next week and all that. So we'll have more information, the exact address and how to get a hold, find it on if you're on the Book of Faces, and what we're going to try to do there and why I'm going to beg for y'all's help so it gets more exposure. So, Amy, final words of wisdom for us until Tuesday.
Final word. Growth and pain can coexist. So thank you guys. I think just acknowledging that, growth and pain can coexist, but also that you can determine your growth, I think is just such a powerful thing. So I thought that kind of summed up everything we talked about today. So thank you guys for being here and loving on us. And I hope everybody has a good weekend. That's all.
I hope everybody has a great weekend. I hope everybody feels seen and heard. And thank you for going over this topic tonight with growth with us. I really feel that more of us have grown than what we recognize. And if we can take that growth into where we're not identifying as our illness as much, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So if you need me, email me, keithcpp@gmail.com, or message Amy. Amy will find me. Thank you again to Amy, to y'all, to Jennifer, to Kate, for all that you guys have done to make tonight what it is and make it so special. You guys saved me once again, and I cannot thank you enough. So we'll talk to you again on videos, and then we'll talk to you live on Tuesday night. I love you guys. See ya. Be safe. Peace.